I'd consider myself Malik.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Honcast.com, and what is another day setting up what's going to be another great weekend, I'm sure, here on Honcast. We're going to kick things off here on what is our Friday coverage with the Honcast Around the Office podcast. That is right, episode number 2, you can officially call it, getting things started last week. We had a lot of fun, so I figured we'd bring it back. With that said, of course, I am Breaky CPK, as always, joined by Ralph Medor. Going around the table, we're once again going to be joined by Sam, a.k.a. MilkFat of S2 Games as well. Sam, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Looking forward to this.
Good to hear, good to hear. And then we're also going to be joined by, you guys may know him, Beef of Complexity Gaming. Of course, the caster over there for them. Beef going to be joining us. How you doing, buddy?
Hey guys, I'm doing real well. Excited to be here for my first podcast. Should be a good time.
Yeah, it should be indeed. You know, we definitely just have some fun on these. I don't know if you got the chance to tune in last week, Beef, but you know, we have some fun. Of course, you are replacing WZA, at least for this show. If things go well, you might be a full-time replacement. We'll see. Not many people seem to like WZA last time.
It's a definite upgrade, for sure.
For sure, for sure. All right, so with that said, you know, just a quick run-through of exactly what to expect here on the podcast show. Basically, we talk about everything Heroes of Newer, specifically, of course, on the competitive scene, talking about from things like recaps on Han Tour to some roster discussions. Yet again, some more roster changes are apparently in the works. And then even more updates on that GSL event in Thailand that's going to be coming up, that $60,000 event, and what exactly is going to be on the line there. And then even, of course, we're going to talk about our personal top 10 rankings and how we see teams fare with that said. So, well, I think it's time to get things started, though, of course, for today. So I figured to get things started off here with this podcast show, we'd go ahead and jump right into it. Kind of just do a recap on Han Tour specifically and how Han Tour went this past weekend, of course, with Cycle number 4 and the Diamond Division. Basically, where things stand now, in fact, I do have the brackets on my screen if we just want to go to that real quickly here. Of course, so as we have it right now, we got Trademark Esports and State Green. They're meeting up in the winners bracket finals. In the losers bracket, you have Complexity going to be taking on Q Squad, and then TTES Sports going up against Lions. But there was definitely some big results. The big one that really stands out to me, at least, was that Lions defeating Complexity earlier on in the event, 2-1. Knocking them down. Complexity, man, they are going through some struggles, it's safe to say.
Yeah, now it's important to note, too, that this match was played with Les QQ. Obviously, if you've been living under a rock the last week and a half, Chessie has announced that he does not want to play with the team anymore and wants to play with Stay Green. Of course, that's not official just yet. He's still working out some issues with Complexity and the contracts involved. But, yeah, Complexity was playing with Les QQ in that match. But I'm not going to really say, like, that was the reason why they lost. I think there's other reasons as to why they've kind of been in a bit of a struggle lately. And I think, yeah, I totally agree. That's probably the one thing that stands out the most, I think, to most people.
Sam, what about you? What about this last week and stood out to you?
Honestly, it's going to be Trademark Esports getting back into their groove. They didn't drop a game. They 2-0'd QSQ, and they looked really good doing it. I think that they kind of fell out of groove, but they're back in it now, and I think this is going to be their cycle.
There was no doubt, I mean, going into this, in fact, both Tralf and I, I'll restate here, we both chose Trademark Esports to win this cycle. Sam thought differently in the end. I believe you even picked Complexity, Sam, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Complexity's still going to pull out, of course.
Oh, of course.
I believe he said Complexity wouldn't drop a game or a series either.
I do remember something like that as well, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I definitely did say that. That's not true. That didn't happen.
That didn't happen. No.
They definitely lost.
But there's still they can still win it all. So you're at least safe for there. You're still safe for there. What about you, Beef? What stood out to you?
I think it definitely had to be Lions taking the series over Complexity. Other than that, though, Domain of Pain showing up, no forfeits, and then able to take some games off of both Complexity and made it a really, really close series actually against Trademark Esports on Monday. So I was impressed with DOP, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more of them in the next cycle.
Yeah, that was definitely another one that I kind of had here in my notes as well. Domain of Pain, and you kind of put it appropriate, not going to lie. The fact that they showed up is one thing. That was actually good to see, and an angry test you played and everything. But on top of that, with them just losing Fitzgerald, remember, going into this cycle to TDM, as we've talked about already, that was a big deal, more so on the fact that, what is going to happen with this Domain of Pain team. But they really did show up again. They faced Complexity in the first round. They ended up losing 2-1, but as you stated, we cast that series even. It was a great series. And they managed to at least stay in Diamond now as they got all the way, eventually losing to TTES Sports 2-1. So, Yeah, Domain of Pain definitely bringing it. Any thoughts from you, Truff, on Domain of Pain?
I was going to say, too, with Domain of Pain, the fact that they're also not using Fitzke, who is now part of TDM, who was, easily one of the strongest supports in the scene right now, and then they have to step up and use Parakletos, who did step up, actually. He played really well all the series that he played in. So, shout out to Parakletos.
The Parakletos, definitely. Doing his part for the team. So, yeah, other than that, I mean, just real quickly, as far as what teams now officially got knocked down out of Diamond as a result of cycle number 4, you're looking at Fakyu Kurdi, who unfortunately forfeited their losers bracket matchup, but hey, you got to show up. Q Squad.
That means that they're also going to lose 50% of their points and 50% of their prize money. And 50% of your points at this point is actually pretty big. That could, be the make or break difference whether or not they could even participate in some of those qualifiers.
Yeah, they're currently 8th place actually, and that could definitely hurt. So, but they just forfeited the losers bracket round, so they still get penalized.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So that hurts. That hurts. Q Squad 777 also getting knocked down. They lost to Pencils. Vitriolic losing to Shit Happens. And then Call It Karma losing to Domain of Pain, actually. So those are the 4 teams that are actually going to be knocked down at Diamond. Again, it really is interesting seeing the cycles of these teams moving up and down between the Diamond and the Gold Division, and how, there's some big-name teams in this one. You got Vitriolic, Call It Karma, FYK, and QSQ 777, all teams that are definitely deserving of being in Diamond, but obviously you got to win to stay in it. So anything standing out to you guys as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, have you guys heard anything? I heard Vitriolic possibly disbanded. Would you guys know a lot about that?
I have seen Mikey's on a different team, and they're down to 3 players. FYKU as well. VN Sensation and Pee-wee, a.k.a. Ninja Pee-wee, have both left that team right now.
They only have 3 players on their roster,
and
you're right.
I've actually heard, as rumors with that Insania is actually trying to build a team with some of those members as well.
I did see Insania actually playing with 2 of those members, VN Sensation and Pee-wee, yesterday,
So,
good
something
point.
to look out for.
That's something we've brought out, obviously, with Insania eventually getting dropped, cut, whatever, by TDM. A big question there was, where was he going to end up? Where was he going to go eventually? Of course, he was playing for Stay Green this past weekend. And on that note, apparently, just a quick update on that, actually, I think he might be playing for Stay Green again this weekend, because apparently the whole Chessie situation still hasn't 100% been altogether figured out. They are still trying to officially get that worked out. I've been told that by Cycle 5, it should be figured out before Cycle 5 and before these qualifiers and whatnot that are going to be ran. But unfortunately, to finish off Cycle 4, they're not going to be able to use Chessie. But now, with that said, Insania has stepped up very nicely, and he does come from being a jungler. So, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the biggest impact for Stake, and I still think that they could even win it all with Insania as their jungler. So
he played really well in the series that we watched. I mean, he played really well. I think he was playing Parasite like 3 games in a row or something. But, yeah, played fantastically. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about Insania?
From my understanding is that on the 30th, Complexity will have released Chessie. So I think that's like the set day. Is like, boom, January 30th, Chessie's a free agent. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. So, again, it's kind of unfortunate, but we talked about it last week. I mean, this whole situation, honestly, probably not should have came up like it did. Probably should have dealt with it a little bit differently, but hey, it seems like it's finally going to get finished up with. I mean, any thoughts from you on that situation, Beef?
I think it sucks to lose Chessie, because he was a really nice guy and he had a really good fit with the team. But if you're not able to retain a player and he wants to go somewhere else, then there's no point in trying to keep him around. And it's going to suck for SG not being able to use him. But, I mean, as we saw last weekend, they're a strong enough team that it doesn't matter who they have playing. They're still showing success, and I think they're still going to have a really good shot this weekend at actually doing very well, if not winning the entire thing, even down their starting 5th player.
Yeah. Yeah, and that actually, I don't want to get into it too much just yet, because I do plan on bringing it up. But now, where does this put Complexity? Of course, with Chessie leaving them, obviously they have been playing with less QQ. But let's just say that could be changing. I don't know if necessarily immediately this weekend, but that could very likely eventually be changing. So with that said, let's kind of lead in now to. Now, what do we expect this coming weekend? So we kind of looked back at this previous weekend in the cycle number 4. What do we expect this coming weekend? So again, we have where we stand. We got Trademark Esports versus Stay Green in the winners finals. Obviously, no matter what, those 2 teams are at least going to finish top 3, if not winning it all. With the 6 teams that we have total left, Trademark, Stay Green, Complexity, Q Squad, TTES Sports, and Lions. Anything, what team do you actually have winning it all? We'll go to that once again.
Well, I still have Trademark from the beginning. I just think that with Fitzke in addition to their roster, just makes them very strong. And I still think, because like you said, I don't know for sure, but obviously, if Riser is playing for Complexity, that's going to have a huge impact on TTE Sports. Because he's a very strong player, and he was a huge integral part of TTE Sports. I mean, even when they couldn't use him for DreamHack winner, Slicks even said that this is probably, even over me, the most consistent player on the team. And it was really difficult to not play with Riser. So if TTE Sports loses Riser and Riser's playing with Complexity, it's really going to hurt TTE Sports. So I have to kind of wait
that's
for that.
impossible. The rosters are locked.
I was going to say, yeah, there's no way.
So okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard it. I've heard them talking about it in like buddy message. Are you going to be using Riser this weekend? So I didn't know. But okay. Well, that being said, I still think regardless, doesn't matter. I think Trademark Esports is still going to.
What do you think the grand finals matchup is going to be? That's a better question, I think.
Oh boy, I think it's going to be TDM and Stay Green.
Okay. So rematch of the winners finals. Milkfat, what about you?
Trademark and Stay Green.
What? What happened to Complexity?
I do. I just Complexity's down losers bracket. They've chosen that. I mean, I'm assuming that I think that Complexity's going to be using Riser. So LesQQ, whoever's going to be their fifth, is going to go into this series knowing like, hey, I'm not their fifth. I'm just playing with them for this cycle only. His heart's not going to be into it. I'm all about the heart, man. And if your heart's not there, there's no chance you're going to win.
That's a fair point. Fair point. Beef, what about you?
I think it's all going to come down to the losers bracket. I think that Lions Esports is actually looking really, really good this cycle, and I've talked with those guys a lot, and I think they're going to go far. And then it's also going to come down to who's playing for Complexity. If Cole's playing with Riser, they've been scrimming with him all week. LesQQ hasn't played with them in 6 days. I don't know how well he's going to perform for them. My go-to here is Stay Green versus the winner of Complexity versus Lions, that's what I'm going to assume is going to be the next losers bracket. So SG versus either Cole or Lions, depending on the lineups for Cole.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Let me just reiterate with you, Sam. So Riser cannot play with Complexity, right? Like he's locked. He cannot play. Okay.
Yeah, rosters are locked.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you can't change it mid-cycle. Yeah. Yeah. That
So
would
maybe
be kind of ridiculous.
SG versus Lions, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Lions, that would be refreshing to
Lions
see.
has been looking really good.
Yeah.
Lions has beaten every single one of these teams this week in scrims. They've had a winning record against most of them.
Yeah, you've been casting a lot of scrim casts for that, man. I know you've had Tralfon actually, and you yourself though, Beef. You've been doing a lot of that, so definitely could take your word for that. I mean, so it seems like Lion has been, and again, this is kind of just. I don't necessarily want to say a quiet team, but because we know about these guys, they've been around now for a while, and they have definitely been established. I mean, right now they're 6th place in the standings going into this cycle number 4 here, and here they are still alive. But they've kind of just been that team, you got all these sexy teams even. You got Complexity, TDM.
So sexy.
Sexy, man. Complexity, TDM, Stay Green. Then you've got Q Squad, TTE Sports. But so I think Lion is kind of just right after those guys as far as like teams that we recognize. But you know what, Beef, I wouldn't be surprised if, what you're saying, it definitely has some validity to it, because Lion definitely is a team that's kind of, and I think that lets some pressure off of them as well. With these roster situations, you guys were talking about Complexity, or Sam was, about the whole LesQQ, his heart's not necessarily going to be in it. What is that going to mean for Riser playing with TTE Sports? I mean, the same thing really, how that's going to affect TTE Sports, you might think, in terms of them not really getting his 100% performance. As a result of, him apparently might be leaving. So
you could also say the same thing, though, for Insania with Stay Green. Like, he's not going to be their new 5th, and he still played, amazingly.
Yeah, but it's Insania. He's the biggest tryhard ever. Plus, Insania has a lot to prove, because he's trying to get people to join his new team. He's trying to do his own thing. He has a lot to prove. LesQQ, on the other hand, I don't think does. But when you're talking about, TT Sports and, Riser obviously possibly leaving and how that's going to affect the team, I think that it's going to affect the team big time. And I think that it's going to show in their match versus Lions. Moravis is playing a lot of League of Legends. Riser's been scrimming with Complexity. I don't even think they've scrimmed in about 6 days. So I think there's going to be problems in Paradise right there.
Honestly, you can't forget Q Squad as well. This is a team that had that crazy run in the last cycle, the 12-game winning streak, all the way to nearly winning it all in cycle number 3. They were up 2-1 in the grand finals. Of course, SG ended up winning that 3-2. But I don't think you can forget about Q Squad either. I really think I wouldn't be surprised any matchup, honestly, here in the grand finals, as a result of the 6 teams we had left. Now, if I had to choose, just like you guys, I would say Trademark Esports versus I would say Trademark Esports versus Stay Green. I think the rematch of the winners bracket finals is, eventually, even with them playing with Insania, we have seen his performance with them. He definitely has stepped into that role very nicely for them, and still will do just fine, I think. So, but We'll see it. Again, that all takes place this weekend, of course. There'll be coverage here on Honcast, obviously, and then Beef yourself. I know you plan on doing some of that coverage as well, so check him doing that out as well. But there you go. So that's kind of, what we think as far as Hon Tour Cycle number 4. And actually, I wanted to touch into the gold division real quickly. Let me pull that up here. Just give me a second. But the gold division, obviously, is something we don't really look at too much, but to see how that's currently playing out. And actually, there are some very interesting results from this. Absolute Legends, obviously, we know that they got knocked down to gold as a result of the last cycle from Diamond. Now, they didn't forfeit. They just ended up getting knocked down. But here they are in the gold division. They actually ended up losing to SmackDown Syndrome, both in the winners bracket losers. And then in the losers bracket, which ultimately knocked them out from moving on, I believe. If I'm not, actually,
no, they're still going
to move on. Okay, they are fourth place, but.
Man, that really upsets me. I really like Absolute Legends. I think that team has so much potential, but I just feel like they don't care at all.
Yeah.
And it honestly, it bothers me because Absolute Legends is such a good sponsor, and they can't be losing to SDS twice in a row. They got 4-0'd by SDS.
Yeah.
And SDS is a good team. Don't get me wrong. They're phenomenal players, but I mean, I just expected so much more. They have the potential to be so much better, and they just don't. And it sucks, man. It sucks because I know all these guys in real life. I'm all really good friends with them, and they're all so talented, and they have so much potential, and they just blow it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't even think it's so much that they don't care. I know these guys are so busy, and I've casted a couple of their games this week and talked with Meisty specifically a lot. Every one of their players is right now in university with the new semesters and quarters and just starting. These guys have really, really strong schedules, and they're just not always able to make the time for scrims. And even when they're playing these games, some of these guys are having to skip classes or skip other responsibilities, even jobs or something, to get to these games. And they're saying that's weighing on them mentally in these games, saying, I'm supposed to be somewhere doing something else. Even though they have a 7-man roster, these people they're still showing up. They're not forfeiting, but it's taken their toll mentally.
Great point to bring up, and obviously that has even more of an effect on the gold division than does Diamond, because the gold you're playing throughout the week. You're not just playing the weekend. So yeah, that's a really good point to bring up. Now, as we pointed out, though, they did finish 4th place in gold, so that means they are going to be moving up to Diamond for next cycle. But you do got to wonder, really how much effort they are putting into it. Not necessarily that, but as you kind of put it, how much preparation, I guess, is even a better way to put it, that they are going to put into it. But how about these other teams? I mean, SmackDown Syndrome, for one, as you said, they are a great team. Now, they've never been Diamond, actually, themselves. This is going to be the first time that they're going to be Diamond, so kind of stepping up to the big show. And then you got another Dimension, DMSN. I know that's a team that a lot of people have really been looking at lately. And then actually, We Are Spies, 007. Now, this team, they were in Diamond last cycle. We actually got the chance to cover them. And they're honestly, they seems like that they are a decent team, and I am excited. They're actually in the winners portion of the grand finals now. In the gold division, so I'm looking forward to seeing them back in Diamond. Actually,
We Are Spies is a very, they're very individually skilled players, all of them. I think that's what's gotten them to this point, and I do question just their team play in general. I think that's why they ultimately did get knocked down back to gold. But if they're able to watch some of the top teams kind of emulate what they do and just keep practicing, keep scrimming, it'll pay off. Because like I said, they're very individually skilled players. Present 23 specifically, I remember casting him actually, and he played just one of the most amazing pebbles that we've seen in a long time. So yeah, I would like to see more of what they can do. I'm excited to watch it.
One thing that I'd like to point out is actually We Are Spies. They haven't even dropped one single game this entire gold bracket so far.
Yeah,
they've been absolutely crushing. And one major thing to point out is that they 2-0'd Dendy's Jungle Devos, who went to the losers bracket and got 2-1'd by Absolute Legends. That means for the first time, Dendy's Jungle Devos will not be moving up to Diamond. They're going to be staying in gold, which is really going to affect their points and their opportunity to try to break that top, because you want to be top 14. That's the ultimate goal. If you're not top 14, you don't get to compete for a chance to go to Vegas. So that's really going to affect their chances. I really like We Are Spies, the fact that they 2-0'd Dendy's Jungle Devos, and they 2-0'd another Dimension, which, ever since picking up Sender, they've been really strong. I see them winning this entire gold.
Yeah, again, they are on the winners portion of the grand final. SmackDown Syndrome versus DMSN will be the losers bracket final set up for that. So, Beef or Trout or anyone else, any final thoughts here on the gold before we move on?
I'll just say that, I think it pays off when you scrim, honestly. I've said this so many times, but I've been watching We Are Spies and they've been scrimming, somewhat regularly, and it just there's a trend, man. There's a trend of the teams that scrim seem to win more games, and you get in that focus of what it's different than TMMs. Like you can't just play TMMs and think you'll be fine. Like you get accustomed to that kind of play. You're not going to be able to adjust. Maybe you will be able to adjust, but a lot of people won't be able to adjust to the top level competitive play. So
yeah, just preparation. Practicing it definitely is paying off for a lot of these. And again, I know we've said this so many times. What the hell is that?
Oh, it's a little honey badger, and it says honey badger don't care.
You need like a little dash under that says shams.
People are making fun of me in chat, so I had to show them I don't care.
Great taunt. In video. Where was I going with that? No, but anyways, the Han Tour in general, just, we thought it was going to bring this. That was kind of the goal with Han Tour, where it could help teams establish themselves and give them a platform to prove themselves. And a lot of we are seeing that. We're seeing that firsthand now as we're going in, I guess after this weekend, we're technically halfway through Han Tour as far as the season goes, obviously with 4 down, 4 more to go. So, yeah, it is really cool. It's cool seeing that, seeing how the standings look and everything, and seeing these teams that we never would have thought of would come about, definitely making some big plays. So, great to see that. Anyways, I think it's time to move on, though. And actually, I know we do have a couple of interviews that we did want to get to today. So I don't know if we're ready just yet, but I know we are planning to be joined by our first guest, Fitsuke, actually, of now, of course, of Trademark Esports. He is planning to join us, so we'll have him here on shortly, hopefully, and then we'll get the chance to, talk about him and, of course, joining TDM and what that's been like for him. But speaking of new players joining, these roster changes and whatnot, okay, so we've already touched on this a little bit, but you got Complexity. They're playing with LesQQ right now. Obviously, the rosters are locked for this cycle, but they have been scrimmaging a lot lately with Riser. Beef, you know this firsthand. And I actually did get word that apparently they are trying to add him officially to their Han Tour roster after the cycle. So apparently, Riser, there is a very good chance he could be joining Complexity as officially their new 5th. So, 2 perspectives. Let's start with the one. How will this affect Complexity, man? I mean, what do you guys see for Complexity if this officially does go through? Drell?
Excuse me. I think that Riser is a better fit, honestly, than LesQQ when they were trying out LesQQ. Like I said on the podcast last week, I think LesQQ is a great player. It has nothing to do with him as a player. It has to do with the role assignment. Because not only would they be adding LesQQ, they'd have to switch up some roles as well with Moonmanor on jungle and then B-Kid on Suicide. It just didn't work out to me. It didn't seem like they were very comfortable with it. And, I think that's, as a whole, it wasn't going to work out. So with Riser already stepping in, he plays a great jungle. There's a couple of jungle heroes that I haven't seen him play in particular, but in general, he plays a good jungle. He also plays a good Suicide, so if you have Moon on a hero that's more comfortable playing in the jungle, then Riser can take over that Suicide role. So I think it's a lot safer with Riser. That being said, I don't think that's going to overall overall fix all the problems that Complexity had. Like, it's important to note that what was Complexity doing when they had Chessie, the last couple of weeks is they still weren't performing well. Yeah. And I still think that they need to find the problems in their roster and in their team and fix those regardless of if it's Riser or LesQQ. So I don't think it's going to have as big of an impact as people think it might have, but I do think that Riser is probably the best fit.
Sam?
I think Riser's an incredible player. Super talented, super nice. He fits in with almost anybody. I think that they're going to start seeing a lot of success with Riser. He is just so versatile. And I'm ready to watch him kick some ass. I'm really happy for him, too, and I just hope that he doesn't land dodge.
Yeah, there is that concern. That is a genuine concern. There's been 2 times now. Obviously, the first time it was more so he eventually just got, they chose Leon Black over him because you could only have 4 to the 5 had to be from that region. That was, of course, need to be up from Australia. This last event, though, he was, for whatever reason came up that he wasn't able to make it kind of last minute, so... that is definitely a legitimate thing, obviously, with Complexity and whatnot. Beef, you?
I think that Riser is going to be a really good fit. I talked to LesQQ yesterday, 2 days ago. He was actually casting with me, and he said that, no hard feelings, that Riser just plays the roles that they needed to fill a little bit better. And when I first saw Riser actually scrimming with him, I was like, is he going to be able to actually jungle effectively? And he's done phenomenally. He blew my expectations away. I think the biggest issue here is that I cast with Riser a lot, and if he's scrimming with Complexity, how is he going to cast with me at the same time?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty upset about that.
That's true.
Other than that, I think it's a great pickup.
That is an unfortunate problem, but I guess it's something that we'll just ultimately have to deal with. for you guys.
Yeah,
okay, so on that, we'll definitely continue that discussion there, but I believe now we actually are joined by Fitsuke here. Now, of course, a Trademark Esports. Fitsuke, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing very good. How are you?
Doing terrific, doing terrific. Of course,
right.
Getting ready to cover an awesome weekend that includes your team playing, going to eventually be in the winners bracket finals, and we'll see from there. But anyways, so you were a part of Domain of Pain. You've been in the Haunt scene for a while, to say the least. But most recently, Domain of Pain. Now you're with Trademark Esports. What was that like for you when you yourself found out that you were going to be playing now for TDM?
Well, I mean the biggest thing is going from a tier 2 team to a top tier team. The Domain of Pain were not as dedicated as I was, and I just felt that I had to switch it up. Mynuts approached me and asked me if I wanted to join in Insania's place, and yeah, I guess that's about it. And I jumped in, and everything feels good.
So, speaking of Mynuts being the captain and everything, you have history with him specifically, of course, playing with him in Lions back in the day in that very successful team, winning in NASL and whatnot. What is that like for you playing with him once again?
Oh, it's great. I love Mynuts. He's a great player and a great leader. Also a very good friend of mine. So, yeah, you laugh, Sam. You laugh. But he's a great guy. I like him.
I don't do this very often.
Never. So again, though, but now you're with Trademark Esports. Is it safe to say that it's kind of been a comfortable transition? Have you fit in pretty well?
Yeah, for sure. I've played a couple of times with Limp. I used to play with Noob G, and I'll play with Mynuts, of course, and I played a bunch of pub games with Psy. So it feels really good. The scrims we have been playing has also been pretty good. A couple of throws here and there, but overall we've been performing pretty good. So I'm happy.
Sam brought up the point earlier that you guys, at least in this cycle so far, you haven't dropped even a game yet. What are your expectations, going forward now with this cycle here? Do you guys think that you can definitely win it all now?
Yeah, sure, I guess. I mean, I don't have the biggest expectations, but of course we can win. It's TDM. The other players in my team are really good. I think I'm pretty good as well, so hopefully we can pull through.
Definitely. And then we were actually just talking about, so I might as well get your thought on this real quickly, the very likely possibility, apparently, of Riser actually leaving TTE Sports to join Complexity. I don't know if you've even heard about this yet, or, do you have any thoughts on that and how that would affect some things, specifically Complexity?
I think Riser would probably fit in better than Let's QQ, since they don't have to switch up the roles. I think that's the biggest thing. Definitely. And I also think Riser is a great player. He's absolutely one of the best players in Han right now. So that would be the best player they could get, I think.
Is it intimidating for you, seeing a change like that happen?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Chessie was great as well, and they didn't perform very well in the last couple of games, so maybe we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, there we go. We got Fitsuke at the webcam finally.
Beautiful Fitsuke.
Beautiful Fitsuke. So again, we are joined by Fitsuke, of course, now of Trademark Esports. I want to throw it around the table real quickly here. I mean, Trout, if you have any questions for him?
I just want to get a feel for what's the main specific difference of playing with Domain of Pain. Like, what's it like in Skype or Vent or whatever, and then playing with TDM. Like, what are the biggest differences of going from Domain of Pain to TDM as far as playing in an actual game?
I think the leadership in Domain of Pain was kind of split between me and Emperor, and it was complicated, to say the least. But in TDM, Mynuts knows what needs to be done, and I usually agree with him, so there's no arguments in game. I take the calls I have to do, and he takes the calls of what the team needs to do. So it's really working out.
Awesome. Sam, you have any questions?
Yeah, I do. Kill one, fuck one, marry one.
My team?
No. Emperor. Mynuts. B-Kid.
Kill Mynuts.
Okay. Standard.
Yeah, fuck B-Kid. And marry Emperor. I think so, yeah.
Right? Yeah, Emperor,
yeah.
He has his own houses.
He is a good guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, he's like strong guy, masculine. Yeah, I like
absolutely.
him. Yeah.
Good answer, I agree.
Yeah.
Good answer. All right, Beef, anything from you?
No, not really. I mean, you guys have covered it pretty well. I just want to say, Fitsuke, I hope that you're going to be able to fit in over there at TDM, and it's pretty nice being able to jump right in with the top team in Han, and hopefully they'll continue to have good success with you, so good luck.
Thank you very much.
Any shout-outs you want to make, Fitsuke?
Shout out to my team, of course, and also my previous team, Domain of Pain, Emperor, Testy, Jeppins, Heimer, and Paracletos. So, yeah. And Sepro. Yeah, Sepro.
There you go. All right, Fitske, of course, now of Trademark Esports joining us. Congratulations. It sounds like things are fitting out pretty well, and we'll look forward to watching you this weekend. So best of luck to you once again.
Thank you very much. Cheerio.
Cheerio.
All right, there you go. Fitske, again, of TDM joining us there. So good guy, just a lot of fun to be around, really. Definitely had the privilege to, of course, several LAN events. Most recently this last DreamHack, he actually was there. Anyways, so yeah, good for him, and like you and I, it seems like we both agree, and it seems like you guys too. I mean, really, it seems like it really is going to be a great fit, if not already, and could do a lot of good things for them here in the future. So, and already a team that's #1 right now, according to the standings at least, and looking strong. So, the strong just got stronger. All right, so now back to the Riser situation. Again, speaking of player changes and whatnot, so. Okay, so we've gotten the complexity perspective on that. It seems like that we all feel like ultimately he's a great player and it's going to be a great fit. How does this affect TTE Esports now? Is this kind of that transaction that happens? Slicks was one thing, but now to also lose Riser on top of that, that's got to hurt, man.
Just to me, I guess.
Oh yeah, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. I'm sorry, but I think it's gonna crush them. Like. I don't know what TTE Sports would do. They're going to have to basically completely reform. I really feel like their roles are going to be kind of screwed up. They're going to have to find a new suicide player, and I really feel like Riser was kind of like the last link in that chain for TTE Sports. So like I said earlier, I really think this is going to have a huge impact on TTE Sports. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Sam, what about you?
I'm also on the same page with Ralph. I hope it's not how it is, but it looks like with losing Riser, it's going to be a void that's not easily fillable. It's got to just come to the point whether or not Dave has it in him, obviously that's why Talaba, whether or not he wants to keep going as captain, whether or not he's going to actively look to pursue to fill that, or with Moravis playing more League of Legends, with Riser leaving, with Slicks leaving, if he's just like had enough.
Yeah.
Because there's a limit, before you get over it, like, oh man, I keep losing all my players, people keep leaving, like, everybody has a cracking point, and hopefully he hasn't reached his, but there's that definite chance that he has.
Yeah, Beef?
Yeah, I have to agree with everyone. I think Riser is a fantastic player, and losing them is going to be extremely detrimental to TTEs, and from what I've been hearing, there's been a few other players that are kind of moving around that are busy, especially in that role that Riser plays, the suicide, the long laner, semi-jungle, and so replacing him is going to be even harder as a result of that. And it's going to be really important that they find somebody quick because, as you said, we're halfway done with Han Tour. If they want to stay in the top spots to try to qualify, they're going to have to find somebody and not really drop down to gold. That could be a real big hindrance. And they've got to do it fast. So best of luck to them, but it's going to be real difficult.
Yeah, I mean, right now they are sitting in a comfortable 5th place spot. They're in a decent spot here. They really are. After Slicks, going into Han Tour, of course, with Slicks event joining State Green, that was a big question in itself. But I think it's safe to say they proved that even without Slicks, they can actually still compete with the best of the best. And even, hell, they defeated Trademark Esports last cycle. Remember that in the Winners Bracket semifinals, I believe it was. This is still a team, and again, they're 5th place overall right now in the standings. But then losing Riser, I think that's more importantly the thing though. Although albeit they might be able to eventually work it out, may find some player here or there that can eventually fill in and then keep it going and still remain to even be in top 10. But is it just worth all of that, especially for Whitalaba, who has been with this team now from the very beginning when it was formerly Frey and even before that. So yeah, it's probably got to be stressful. I'm sure it's got to be pretty frustrating ultimately in the end. But so we'll see. You cross your fingers and hope that it does stay alive because, you hate to see that in the end. But if it does fall apart, then hopefully those players can eventually spread out to other teams and, make other teams better, bigger, better, faster, and stronger.
There you go.
As a great Daft Punk would say. So yeah, there's the Riser situation, kind of the two perspectives there from, of course, Complexities and then from TTE Esports. So it's going to be interesting, though. Again, that's not 100% official. I want to just put that out there. It's not like that's actually happened just yet.
Right.
But there is a lot of strong rumors out there that it is very likely going to happen. So, so yeah, that's the whole situation there as far as roster transit. As far as anything else, as far as rosters go, I mean, has there been any rumors out there from you guys that you kind of heard about, or
the only one is that I've heard that Insania is trying to make a new team with members of, like we said earlier, from FYKU and a couple other members. But that's all I've heard.
Okay.
I heard Shoes coming back.
Yeah,
He's
confirmed.
He's coming back every other week.
Yeah. That's just what I heard. I
One sec, guys.
I heard he's going to be Complexity's new fifth.
I heard actually
I
that
actually
Dendy's
did, yeah.
Jungle Devos, they did lose the series, but Dendy wasn't playing with them, so with his return,
With
things
Dendy
should be
coming
looking
back. With Dendy joining the team and
yes.
playing
Yeah.
that Devo of his. All right.
Kazu.
Yeah, I believe we are joined by Casey. Speaking of that, I think we had him hop on there. As I said earlier, we got a couple interviews. This is the second one that we had playing. Kazu, are you there?
Yep.
Kazu, how you doing, buddy? How are things going for you today?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks.
Yeah, and I know you were just recovering from a nap that you had there, so hopefully
Yeah.
waking up. Are you guys going to be scrimmaging here soon, or is that not happening today?
Nope. Swindle is currently out buying beds for us.
Okay, awesome.
What a good guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know, man.
being a good captain.
Hope you enjoy your air mattress, buddy.
We'll see about
Sleeping
that.
on the floor. Okay, so obviously, well, that kind of speaking of that, that's definitely one of the reasons I wanted to have you come on here today and talk a little bit, Kazu, about this situation that's coming up now. So obviously, we know things seem to be going pretty well with you and State Green, and now Chessie joining, although it's not. It's going to be apparently the 30th when that officially happens, but. Ultimately, you guys are all going to be moving to Miami, meeting up, and forming this new dream team and living at large, I'm sure. So, what is that? When you first heard that you were going to be moving to Miami, what was your reaction?
Well, they offered me that there's like a slot for me left, and I was like, that I take it into consideration. So I talked to my parents, and they were like, yeah, if you really want to, it's okay, but it's like a really big step. So I thought about it, and I mean, it is a pretty big experience and a pretty big opportunity.
Yeah. How old
So
are
it's
you, with
like-
that said?
I'm currently 17.
Jeez. Moving to another country. Yeah, it is a
know.
big step for sure. So,
Is that going to
Yeah.
have effect on school or anything? Or
I am currently done. I'm doing an extra thing, but I'm like taking a break from that now.
okay. So yeah, again, things seem to be going very well. Obviously, you've been on the team now for a little bit with DreamHack and everything. Now you guys just most recently, as we just talked about, you picked up Chessie even. Sure, it hasn't officially, again. We know the story. He's going to eventually be meeting you guys in Miami as well, so you're going to be coming you, Slicks, Chessie, Z-Freak, and Swindle. What do you think of this team that you have? What do you think of this roster that you have here?
I love my team. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I like the people might not believe it, but I like the personalities of my team.
Mhm.
They're fun when you get to know the people that I have in my team. They're nice people. I like to be with them. I like to play with them, so I don't think we're going to have any issues.
Do you think that this is one of the strongest rosters we've ever seen? Because we've debated that ourselves on the last podcast. I mean, well, what is your opinion on that? Do you think this is one of the strongest rosters ever?
Maybe not yet, but I think it can be if we keep practicing and playing.
Has that been going well for you guys?
Yep. I mean, we improve every day by playing together, and we're just like we recently picked up Chessie, and just 2 weeks before that we picked up Slick, so we still need to get the team chemistry going.
Yeah. And with these transitions and whatnot happening, it started with Slicks, where there were some role changes that were going to be happening, and now with Chessie joining the party. Is it safe to say, for you, it was the big change going from that carry role that you were so used to playing to eventually being now, I guess, the suicide player for the team? How has that transition been for you?
Okay, so it was pretty rough in the start. Like, I had some issues. I did play the role before once back in Black Fate, like a year ago, but it was pretty rough because I was so used to playing hard carry and just farm, click on creeps, and then in the game I click on heroes and I win the game. And now I just, I need to look at the map, try and find opportunities. It was pretty rough, but I'm slowly getting the grip of the role now.
Yeah. All right. I'm good on my question, so pass it around. Terrell, if you have any questions?
I got to pose the question, okay? The team that Swindle Mullins has had, well, right now and then previous, it's obvious that he's done a lot of shuffling around in the last few months. There's no question there. Let's pick up the scenario of you and Chessie coming to Miami, and let's say everything starts going to shit, to be blunt, and things just not work out. I mean, is that kind of a have you thought? I mean, has it even been in the back of your mind at all, or first of all, how long are you planning on moving out there for? Is it set, or is it just kind of
3 months.
3
for
months?
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, have you thought about that at all? Like, what if things like go completely sour? Like, what are we gonna do? Like, because it's got to be in the back. I mean, it's in the back of my mind. It's like, well, he's changed his team so much that I don't know if that's gonna have an impact at all. I don't know. I just wanted to get your opinion.
No, you're right. It's in the back of my head at least, since I'm also like 17, and I mean, things can always go wrong, but like it is in the back of my head, but I don't really see it happening, because at least from what we've experienced so far, I really like my team, and the personalities have just been fitting together pretty well.
Yeah.
We haven't had any arguments, so.
I think with you, it's not as big of a deal. I think if we got Chessie on here, I think it would be the biggest deal, because obviously the move from him joining
not only is he joining a new team,
but then moving out there,
moving
it just
out.
seems
Yeah,
so
right.
sudden to me. I'm like, what if this doesn't work out? You know?
They're young.
True.
They're not old like us, Trout. They're
I know,
young.
old man Tro.
Yeah, 17 years old.
Sorry, guys.
All these years ahead of them. No, so yeah, I obviously that is a good concern to bring up. Definitely have in the back of your mind, but ultimately, gotta take those chances sometimes. You gotta have fun with it, right? So
I'm not discounting at all how strong you guys have been playing, because you guys have been playing really, really strong. But you know, certain what are you pulling up? Certain teams will perform very, very strongly for a month or so, and then sometimes crap happens, and then I just wanted to post that question out there. But
Yeah.
Anyways, Sam, you got a question?
Yeah, so, Keizu, have you ever been to Miami before?
Nope, I've never been to the States
America
before, actually.
You've never been to the States before? Alright.
Nope.
I've never been to Miami either. In fact, the only thing I know about Miami is from Will Smith.
Good song.
You know, he says that in Miami there's a lot of sun, there's a lot of bitches, and there's a lot of clubs. Out of those three things, what are you most looking forward to?
Are you kidding me? You're asking me
No,
that
that's
on a podcast?
that's a
Serious
serious question.
question.
Yeah, that's really serious.
I'm genuinely.
You're
what were the
almost
three
like,
options again? What were the
Sun,
I can't
bitches,
go to the clubs. What can I say?
You're going for the clubs? All those
I
all
can't
ages,
go to the
18
clubs.
and
Yeah,
under.
he's
You're
only
young.
17. Yeah.
Too young.
Yeah.
Can't
I need to go
So
for the
that-
other two. What can I say?
Bitches or
Alright.
sun?
Which one?
Can I have like a bit of both?
Smart man. Smart man.
Bitches
Alright,
and the
dude,
sun.
True.
There you go.
Alright.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I just wanted to say congratulations, man. I'm really happy for you. That's really cool. Not many people get the opportunity to go and travel to a different country. It's like somebody from here getting to move to Europe to go compete at a gaming house and just play video games all day. Like, that is so awesome, dude. And I'm really excited that we were able to give you the opportunity to do that. And I really hope you the best. And you rule, man. I love you. You know that.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Beef,
I love you too.
You got any
buddy.
questions?
Well, I want to talk about more in-game. Since Slicks has joined, you've kind of moved to the suicide role. How have you found yourself being adapting to that?
Well, as I said before, I had trouble in the start, but now I think I'm doing fine for now. But I'm still looking to improve every single time I play my Suicide Heroes.
Put your listening ears on, Beef.
What?
We already asked that question.
Oh, I didn't.
It's fine. Just make
Don't
it suck.
worry.
right
Sorry,
now.
guys.
Do you
Sorry,
have,
guys.
Do you have anything else, Beef?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just gonna ask about, like, we were just talking about the gaming house. I heard that part. I was listening for that part. Like the efficacy of the gaming houses has been something that's like really controversial in esports lately, especially with a lot of the North American gaming houses. Complexity just closing down the one in Texas. How much of an impact do you really feel that it's gonna make? Like, is that something that you guys are just gonna leap heads and shoulders above everybody else, or is it just going to be better because you guys are going to have similar schedules? Or
It's wants to like get the team chemistry going, and I think it's really important, at least in every game, that you're good in a LAN environment as a team, because that's like where the big money comes from. So if you're good in that situation, it really helps. And then second, the ping, especially for Slicks, is just gonna.
Yeah.
It's like gonna make him from a monster to, like, I don't know, a legend, whatever.
That's gonna be huge, man. I mean, it's one thing for the Europeans, but the whole team to be in one location is gonna be great. But then Slicks, especially, I mean, that's no doubt been on everyone's mind that follows competitive on. It is going to have an impact. I can guarantee that. So that's gonna be good for you guys. I believe we have one more question actually before we wrap things up here with you, Keizu. Killer Orange, the mystery.
It's
the
just
man.
real quick.
Okay, what do you got?
Are
Killer
you still
Orange?
wearing your DreamHack wristband there?
Yeah.
DreamHack,
Oh, you have
baby.
both of them on. Very nice.
too.
Very nice.
Put them back on camera for us.
Are you?
I
Are
can
you?
see it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
All day, dude. 5
Repping.
years. You're gonna have like 15 of those on your wrist.
Yeah.
Just cover your entire arm.
Repping the
All me.
DreamHack. All right, there you go. All right, so KZoo, really do appreciate you joining us, and of course talking about the whole situation there. Best of luck to you, obviously. Any shout-outs you do want to make here, though?
Shoutouts to my team, my fans, people who support me, Saint Six, and my family. That's about it.
There you go. So, KZoo, living every gamer's dream. Moving to the States, playing in the house in Miami. God, that's gonna be fun, man. All right, so best of luck to you once again. Obviously, we'll be watching this weekend as well. You guys gonna win it all this weekend, by the way?
Hoping to.
Okay.
We
safe
will.
answer.
Yeah. We're gonna take it in. We're gonna win this 2-1, and then we're gonna win the grand finals 3-2.
All right, there you go.
Against who though?
TDM.
All right, there you go.
Rematch. All right, so feeling confident. Nothing wrong with that. All right, congratulations, man. And we'll be seeing you more in the future. Take it easy.
Peace.
There you go.
Adios.
KZoo, great guy there from not Trademark, from Stay Green, of course. So yeah, it's as ultimately it's safe to say it is a big move, man. I mean, the guy's 17 years old, living in Europe, obviously his whole life, never been to the States for one. Going to be going out now. It is only 3 months, so it's not like it's the biggest commitment in the world. With that said, but
Right.
it's got to be a great experience when it's all said and done, no matter good or bad, honestly. So. That is going to be cool, and that's going to make that team, though, like I was kind of saying there at the end, especially with them just all being on even ground, all them being in the same location, that's going to give them the LAN experience tenfold over other teams for when those LAN events do happen. You got to figure so.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing by far is the ping issue.
Yeah,
Slick's being able to play on an even ping and get used to that, and it's going to have a huge impact, I feel, on this play. So that'll be the biggest thing.
it is.
Hey, Killer Orange, do you mind if I bring on a special guest really quick?
Who do we got?
I think we're gonna get some Zet Pro up in here.
Well, what is up with that? I noticed a lot of people want to
The people want it. Let's get them on here.
The
It's what
people have
want.
spoken that they want the great Zed Pro.
All right, let's see if he shows. He said he was ready.
No, he's not. How old is Zed Pro? He's pretty
too
young,
busy
too, isn't he?
playing Bramble, probably.
It's a good hero.
It is.
What's up, Zet
My
Pro?
breakout hero for this season.
Hello.
What's up, buddy?
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Hello, Ralph.
Take it over,
Hello.
Sam. This is your
Yes,
interview.
Sam, this is your...
So Zet Pro, you're on pencils, and you guys are doing pretty average in Han Tour. What do you think you need to do to really step up your game to become a top team?
Just scrim more. We doesn't really scrim between the cycles, so just practice more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys think you deserve? Do you guys think you deserve more respect than you're given? Because we don't really talk about you much.
Nah, not really. I mean, we don't play that much, so we haven't showed off so much. We're saving our aces for something epic.
Ah, epic. All right. Where are you guys? What place? You guys are 15th right now, actually, in the standings. Not too bad. Are you confident that you can finish at least top 11 to at least make it to that qualifier at the end of the season here?
Yeah, nah, I'm not sure actually.
What?
I think you got it.
Come on. You guys are good. Come on.
Zed Pro,
Yeah, but as I said, we're not practicing that much, so.
Yeah.
thoughts on the smoke gank in Han?
Ah, it's awesome. It requires a lot of practice.
Yes.
Not everyone can pull the smoke gank off.
Can you explain
Do
it
you
to
have
everybody?
is that an
might
inside
not
You have
be
to
thing?
be you have to be extremely sneaky, and you have to make sure first of all it's night, and then you just have to sneak around the map. You have to be very quiet and lurk around the bushes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then as soon as someone comes, you just jump them and scream all that you can.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Zet Pro.
Where can people find you, Zepro? What's your stream?
Twitch TV/ZetPro.
Simple enough.
Yeah.
All right. No, you know what? I love watching you guys when we get the chance. So hopefully we're gonna do that more. Obviously, you guys are gonna be diamond again. So, best of luck. Any shout outs finally here, Zepro?
Shout out to Fitske and Cheerio.
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 All right. Appreciate it, Zepro. Take it easy.
Yeah, see you guys.
There you go. Special guest. Special interview there.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. That was good. That was good. All right, though. So, having some fun there. Getting, what ended up being 3 interview guests on, actually. That was some good content there.
Good stuff.
Now, I forgot to actually mention this at the beginning of the podcast, but anyways, in about a half an hour from now, we are going to be scheduled here to cover what is the Sound Blaster qualifier. This is now going to be the 4th qualifier, I believe. The finals for it. And it's actually going to be between Call It Karma and apparently they changed their name to Cut for Bieber. I don't know. They're formerly known as Shit Happens. Those guys, they're now tagged up as YOLO. Yeah.
Really mature group of guys.
Great.
I'm going to yell at Yolam.
Great
He changes
group of
his
guys.
team name like every other week. I just can't keep it track.
So yeah, we're going to be covering them, though. That's in the finals. They're trying to qualify for that Sound Blaster event. Again, that $40,000 prize pool and everything. I know, Beef, you do the earlier rounds for it. So we got some good content coming out from that, and going to be fun. So definitely stay tuned for that. So with that said, we got about maybe 20 minutes here before we want to wrap things up officially to get into that. So I want to, of course, keep it moving along. I did want to stress again, so this GSL tournament, obviously this is that Thailand event that we brought up last week, or Sam, more so you kind of, announced it in a sense that we're going to be bringing 2 NA European teams. They were going to have to qualify, though. Now we know the information for that. I believe it's just released earlier today on hontour.com. I think it's now the first post on there. If you guys can, actually, here, let me pull it up myself real quickly so to show you guys. But anyway, so this is the official announcement for the qualifiers. It's going to be 2 different qualifiers. The top 16 teams, according to the Han Tour standings after those cycles, will qualify to play in the qualifier. And then the winner of each qualifier gets to go to Thailand to compete for that $60,000 prize pool is ultimately what it comes down to. So, Sam, I want to throw it to you, though. Do you have any other things to add that are of importance?
Yeah, last time I said that it was going to be starting on February 5th, I lied to you guys.
Yeah.
We're actually going to be because Gold's going on that week, and I don't want to get in the way of some of those Gold teams. We're going to be starting at February 11th. It's going to go for 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Single elimination, 16-team tournament. Winner of that gets a free trip to Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
Then Cycle 5 plays out. And then I'm giving a 2-cycle break so more teams can step up, other people can compete. After Cycle 6, I'll take the top 16 teams again and put them into a new tournament, minus whoever won the first Thai qualifier and adding in 17th place. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the best part is, guys, Honcast is going to be casting every single day. I think we got like some crazy schedule where you guys end up casting 17 days in a row or something.
Bring it on. Doesn't work.
Sick.
Yeah. So Honcast is back casting full time. We're going to have great games for you guys every single day. It's going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
It is. So, again, single elimination, best out of 3 tournament all the way through. It's, really doesn't get any better than that with so much is on the line, really. Because let's be honest. So, just kind of a quick preview here of this final event. So, sure, this not only gets you a trip to Thailand for winning one of these qualifiers, but it puts you in a good spot to make some good money. Because, again, let's be honest, the North American European region, it does seem to be a step up as far as the Southeast Asia goes. Now, that's not to say that they could surprise us, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but you're going to be competing for a $60,000 prize pool. Good chance that you can win a good chunk of that change. So what are your guys' thoughts? I'll throw it around for kind of discussion real quickly. Trelf?
I think it's awesome to actually see the teams competing with, or the NAEU teams competing with the Southeast Asian region. And I think it's, if anything, it's going to make the Southeast Asian region, it's already huge, but even bigger to see, oh my God, these teams, no offense to the Southeast Asian team, but these teams are really good from NAEU, and we got to watch and see what they do, and then they'll start to emulate the strategies that NAEU brings over. And I think it's going to be awesome for the scene in general. Yeah.
Sam, and what is your take on that as far as the competition goes?
I think that a lot of the NAEU teams are going to, whoever wins, I think they're going to roll up into Thailand thinking that they're the best, that they're going to win. But that's their territory. There's going to be 32 teams there. That means you're 2 of 32 teams. And these guys play with each other all the time. They have the crowd in their favor. They have the casters. It's all built around them. We're the villains going in from North America. I think it's going to be stressful, and I think that we're going to see some really good games.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Beef, what about you?
I completely agree. I think we're going to see some incredible games, and it's nice to see the international teams going back out to Southeast Asia. Has that happened since DYA?
I was actually going to bring that up. DYA was the last time that happened, but for the DYA event, it was ultimately won by the North American teams. I believe it was not ICE. They finished second. EG, yeah, won it, but that was really as Southeast Asia was just launching. I mean, that was really right as they were getting on their feet, just launching over there. So. But yeah, do you want to go further though, Beef? Or?
I just think it's going to be an awesome event, and I was looking at the format of the event over there. Going to be 8 4-man into a double elimination after that, and spots 3 and 4 from each of those groups go into the lower bracket. Meaning that if one of these NA teams, one of the favored teams, just drops a couple of games in their group, they could be just one best-of-3 series away from elimination.
Best of one, actually.
Best of one?
It's best of one all the way into the winners and losers finals, and then the grand finals is best of 5 with 1-0 winners, is from what I remember seeing. So
so it's dangerous.
That's a big deal.
These teams have to not underestimate their Southeast Asian counterparts, because best of one, you're 2 games, 3 games in total away from being eliminated if you just underestimate them and get blindsided by some crazy strat.
Yeah.
Well, what's really cool is that since there's 32 teams there, these guys are going to have no clue who they're playing against. They're not going to be able to, when you go into a Haunter match, you're like, okay, we're playing against Trademark Esports. Trademark Esports does this. Minus does this. And you kind of know your opponents. They're going to go in this kind of blindsided where all of those 32 teams are going to know how to play against each other. They're going to know how to play against the North American teams because they can just go on Honcast and watch all of your guys' games. But you guys aren't going to have any idea how to play against some of these random teams. And nor do you have any idea how their strategies are. I think that we're going to see some pretty big upsets.
I wouldn't put it past it. I mean, I am so confident in our North American European representation.
Well, yeah, obviously we got to back them.
Yeah, it would not surprise me though. You are right.
Here's the biggest thing: is the strongest team that was over there was Orange Esports, and they lost the 2 members of the roster now because they're actually merging with some of the members of MUFC.
Yeah.
So Kiddo and I forget Nico Case was the other member, and I actually watched them scrim, and obviously it's going to take them some time to. Get up to speed and whatnot. But I don't know. I really think that NAEU is going to come in there with a bang, and I don't know as many teams as maybe you do in the Southeast Asian scene, but I think regardless, though, it's going to be awesome for the Southeast Asian scene because they're going to be able to see what the NAEU teams can do.
In person.
And in person, right. So it'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be an extremely fun event. That's
it is.
Sure.
It's on their turf, ultimately, is the biggest thing that I think Sam even brought up there. So
yeah.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Again, so that main port, the one we're talking about, the Thailand, actually the LAN event, the finals of it, the $60,000 grand prize pool and everything, that's March 30th and 31st, I believe, are the dates for that. So we still got a little bit of ways, which myself and Trelf, we actually are going to be flying out to and covering that, so obviously even more excited for that reason. But the qualifiers, as we were just talking about, that starts on the February 11th and then continues 2 weeks after. So there will be those 2 qualifiers to see which 2 teams from North America and Europe are going to be representing this region proudly. So that is going to be a lot of fun. All right, keeping the pace moving here. I only have so much time left. But now I wanted to jump into our top 10 community rankings, actually.
Yeah.
We actually just released these in here. I'll pull it up on my screen real quickly. So this was just posted on Honcast.com. The official community rankings as of today. This is how they stand. So, as you can see, Trademark Esports ultimately is still the #1 team. I believe this is for now 3 times in a row here. They got 10 of the first place votes of the 12. Stay Green, though, definitely closing it a little bit, but they got 2 of the first place votes out of the 12. So it's kind of them 2 on top. Q Squad actually jumping up 2 spots from 5th to 3rd place this time around, so for good reason, of course. Then you got Complexity, TTES Esports, Lion Esports, Orange, One Trick Pony, Domain of Pain still making it on there, and then Pencils wrapping up the top 10, actually. So sure enough, Zed Pro and crew actually making it to the top 10 for the first time. So exciting to see that, I'm sure. But anyway, so that's kind of just how it looks right now. So I figured we go around the table here and obviously give our own votes and our own polls on how we actually listed it out. So Trelf, I want to go ahead and throw it to you first.
Do we have our lists ready? Or
I don't know if they're not going to actually be on the screen. But
I pulled mine up that I had. I actually, in this order, I had TDM, Stay Green, QSQ, Lion, Complexity, TT Esports, Pencils, OTP, Domain of Pain, and Orange Esports.
Okay.
And So I think it was actually pretty close to that. I had pencils a little bit higher up and actually complexity a little bit down. And I think it's safe to the coolest thing is we were talking about coming into Han Tour is that we would have a very nice system about being able to evaluate who's, which rank. And I think it's very easy to come into these community rankings because you can see who won this cycle, who won this, who has this many points. And it's a really nice way. So I use that as a good reference, and my top 10 is according.
All right, so yeah, complexity at 5th place. So yeah, it's so weird to say that, but at the same time, I agree with you. I mean, they really have been falling off lately, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go. Sam, what about you?
I got Trademark, Stay Green, and then I still have complexity above QSQ. I think QSQ's been doing great, but until they prove more than just one cycle that they're a top team, a top 3 team, they're not going to be there on my bracket. So TDM, Stay Green, Complexity, QSQ, Lions, and then the rest of those teams in that order. But yeah, I still think Complexity's going to be above QSQ, and QSQ has their chance to prove me wrong tomorrow.
Yeah, that they do. Of course, going to be facing each other. We might cast that. We'll see. Beef, what about you?
I'm pretty close to what we actually have on there. I've got Trademark, Stay Green, Complexity, QSQ, Lions, TTEs, One Trick Pony, Orange, Domain of Pain, and then Mistral Multigaming, formerly N9s and Druids, going in number 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like Complexity, I think they're just a little bit stronger than QSQ right now, and QSQ, I mean, they've been hanging around in that kind of 4th, 5th place spot, but they're still yet to be proven. Like, is this a 1-week fluke? I don't know. They've looked okay in scrims this week. They haven't looked real dominant, and Complexity's been doing better than them, and they're still doing better overall. So you've got to consider over the past weeks, past months. So I've still got Cole up there, and then Mistral Multigaming at the end there. Pew's team, Druids, N9, Mistral, whatever you want to call them, qualifying for the Sound Blaster Heroes League a couple of weeks ago. They're going to be going into that event, and they've made it back into Diamond, and they were able to stay in Diamond.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with them in a 10th place spot. And Domain of Pain, as I mentioned earlier in the cast, taking games off of TT Esports and Complexity. As long as they continue to show up, I think you'll find them in my top 10 pretty consistently.
And again, they finished 9th overall even, so it definitely seems like the voters agree with you. So yeah, the most interesting to me with your one, Beef, was the Mist being the 10th. And Mist is a team that, they do deserve recognition at the very least. And I think it was you and one other put them 10th place as well. So they did get a little bit of recognition here on the top 10. And as you said, not only they're in Diamond now, but they are ultimately going to be staying in Diamond, actually. So we'll see, how they kind of advance. But they started in Silver, I believe, in the first cycle. And here they are, in Diamond and staying in there. So as far as my list goes, the correct one in the end. Clever, I know. So we got Trademark Esports, Stay Green. I think we universally all went with that. But then I do have Q Squad actually 3rd, Complexity 4th, Lion, TT Esports, Orange, One Trick Pony, Pencils, and Domain of Pain actually wrapping it up for me. So I think the big kind of, it seems like that we're kind of having a back and forth is really the Q Squad of Complexity, where it ultimately placed them. For me, Q Squad I think does deserve to be that 3rd place spot over Complexity, simply because not only do they have that great run, and they have been looking very, very strong as of lately, of course, but on top of that, you do have Complexity. They're going through roster changes, and they have been disappointing lately. So it's not a case where Q Squad got maybe a fluke win over Complexity, which led them to this, but Complexity's still strong. Complexity has been struggling, and I think that is deserving enough to kind of drop them at that spot and have Q Squad ultimately, in that higher spot over them. So, and in the end, it seems like, as I said, they finished 3rd place actually according to the overall rankings as well. So, like I said, I'm right.
Always right.
Always. So I'll throw it across. Anything else from you guys, Drelf, to add to this?
I just totally agree with you said about Q Squad and Complexity. I think the biggest thing too is Complexity in the last cycle. It wasn't just like they won a series and then they didn't place well. They won the series and then placed 2nd in the whole cycle over 2-0 over Complexity even. So yeah, we will get to see a very epic match tomorrow, perhaps, if we do cast that, of Complexity and QSQ. And I will say, I actually tried to look through the scrims there. I thought I remembered QSQ actually scrimming Complexity and actually winning, I think every time in the last few days. I'm not 100%. I just looked at a recent one. They just won yesterday.
Nova actually made a
Yeah, I know they
Facebook
won
post
yesterday.
about they won like 9 or 10 scrims in a row against TDM, Complexity,
Yeah.
TTE Sports and stuff, like the top teams. So
And again, I take scrims with a huge
course.
grain of salt. Like, to me, it doesn't really mean anything. But because it's supposed to be a place where you're trying things out, and if you lose, it's no big deal because you're, testing the waters, whatnot. But yeah, I totally agree with you about what you're saying about QSQ over Complexity.
all right, Sam or Beef, any responses or anything you want to add yourselves before we move on?
I just want to say my honorable mentions: We Are Spies, Pencils, AL, Pudge. All of those guys were so close to making it in, and I mean, one good showing in the next weekend, and they're all so close to making that top 10. But it's really nice to see that the top 10 was hard. You look back 8 months, a year ago, and it was hard to make a top 5 for me.
Yeah.
And now I've got like 18 teams that I wrote down when I went into this, like saying these guys could all be the top 10. So it's really nice to see the competitive scene just firing on all cylinders right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Grab Lords is on the rise too, so you can see them.
Yeah.
The go-to grab lords.
My favorite team.
Those guys. Okay, so obviously we are coming to the end here, but there was one last thing I did want to bring up here. I don't necessarily even discuss it, but the Sound Blaster Heroes League, which of course we are going to be covering the finals once again, just shortly after our podcast finishes here, of Call It Karma taking on Cut for Bieber in the best of the 3 series. I know, I hate saying it. I do.
Name, man.
I want to go back to just calling them Shit Happens, but even that is just no. But anyways, so there's a post here made by shout out to Chalik here on the forums. He actually kind of broke down the invited teams and the qualified teams and how it's all going to play out eventually. So if you want to go to my screen real quickly to show you guys what I'm talking about, but the invited teams. So far we have Complexity, Trademark, Stay Green, and Q Squad, of course, are the 4 invited teams with 4 more to go. Then you have the qualified team so far of One Trick Pony, the N9 Gaming, now known as Mist, Dendy's Jungle Devils, and then either C1K or Jolim's team. We'll call them that here today. So that's going to be the next qualified team. So again, we're kind of halfway through as well. So the Sound Blaster event's really lining up nicely with the Han Tour cycles, and it really is gonna make for once this all comes to a conclusion for this event with Han Tour, of course, and the GSL, the Thailand event. There's gonna be a big month period. It seems like that's just gonna be epic, man. So
Yeah.
at the end of March starting. So there you go. Kind of just a quick look at what's going on in that event. So anything from you guys before we kind of wrap things up officially here, Drelf? Sam?
Han 3. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
That's fine.
Charles.
No, I got nothing. We covered
Han
it all.
3.0 comes out a week from today. Be excited. It's going to be a really cool patch, guys. It's going to be really easy. I mean, I'm just going to be, candid with you guys. It's going to be really easy now for you guys to get your friends more involved with Han. In the past, Han's always had a very difficult learning curve, and it's one of the hardest games to break into.
Mm-hmm.
And, the community, we all know, whatever. But with the new Learnatorium, the bots, and just the overall video tutorials, it's really going to make it easier for your friends to join in. So next week, invite your friends, get everybody to play some Han, and then we'll have a podcast as well next Friday, and I have another announcement about Han, and it's a little bit of a Han Tour secret surprise that a lot of you guys are going to enjoy. So next Friday is going to be awesome. I hope you guys are all excited as I am, and thanks for always supporting Han. You guys are great.
Yeah, that's when we should look to especially talk more about 3.0 on our next podcast, as you put it, Chris, because that's when it will actually be out. So,
Awesome.
Beef, any final words from you?
I just want to thank you guys for having me on. It really was nice to come on. I've been watching the Honcast podcast for years and never thought I'd be on one, so it was a pleasant surprise. In regards to 3.0, I know that you guys are going to be doing some LAN parties like all over the place, and I think I'm going to be showing up at the one at Howie's in Mission Viejo.
Nice.
I think
nice.
next Friday. So I'm planning on going to hang out there. Not sure if I'm going to be playing with a team for the tournament going down there or just hanging out, but planning on being there. So if you're in the area, I'll be there, hang out. And,
Howie's has a $2,000 tournament.
Yeah.
2,000, yeah.
It's a great
Next
LAN
weekend,
center, too.
yeah.
Obviously,
Next weekend, anybody in Southern California, there's 4 Howie's locations. It's in Moreno Valley, Mission Viejo, Buena Park, and then actually Mesa, Arizona. We're doing a 3.0 tournament. It's $2,000. All the stores will be participating against each other. Beast's going to be there casting. I know there's a lot of giveaways. Alienware is doing the laptop for a week, so definitely if you live in Southern California and Arizona, go there. There's money to be won. Only scrubs are going like Leon Black. Like, it's fine. You guys got it.
Yeah, and Heimer. And Jeppens.
Is he actually?
Jeppens is
Okay.
actually playing in there, too.
Well, no, but those guys are good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Oh, Leon.
Shots fired.
Boom.
All right, so yeah, definitely go to as you know, Sam. Actually, you're very familiar with those LAN centers. That's where your world record attempt, or your world record actually, was held eventually.
Yeah, Howie's is great. It's a really
great
fun
place. Been a couple times myself. Anyways, all right, I think that is going to wrap things up here for the podcast. So once again, do appreciate you guys joining us, but definitely sit tight, guys, because now we are going to take a short break here. We are going to have to restart the stream, actually, to put the delay on, but we'll be coming back in about 6 to 10 minutes from now, and we'll be covering the Sound Blaster Heroes League Finals of Call It Karma versus Jolim's team. So best of the 3 series, that should be a lot of fun. So sit tight, guys. From myself, Breaky CPK, Tralf, you can follow this guy at Tralf
And at Breaky CPK.
You also got Milk Fat. Do you have a Twitter, Milk Fat?
You know what? I do.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but you guys could find it somewhere on there if you look for me.
Just tweet at MilkFat and see who you get.
At MilkFat, maybe.
Yeah, it's like at S2 MilkFat or at Milk. It's one of those two. I'll figure it out. I don't really use it. I should probably start using it.
All right,
It's at MilkFat. Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Is it? Okay.
Wait, no, that's not. You tweeted at the wrong person in the Honcast tweet.
Oh, did I? Yeah, I think I put at MilkFat. It's probably not him. Oh well.
Is there somebody else?
Yeah, it's some guy from Tokyo with 2 followers.
He's got 3 now.
There you go.
Follow.
Anyways.
3,000 by the end of this cast.
Beef, where can people find you on Twitter?
Hey, I'm at BeefPomPie1. Nice and easy.
There you go. All right, so really do appreciate you guys coming on here and joining us. Obviously, Sam, we definitely plan to keep this every single Friday. I mean, this seems like this is going to be routine now. Every single Friday at 2:30 Eastern. That's 11:30 Pacific, 20:30 Central European time. Beef, you know, maybe you'll be joining us as well more in the future. So
we'll see.
Look forward to that. Anyways, until we come back, guys, sit tight once again. Take a quick break here. We'll be coming back at you. The Sound Blasters Heroes League. Wow, Sound Blaster Heroes League Finals of Call It Karma taking on Jolim's team. Stay tuned, guys. Game 1 of that series is going to be coming up after a restart here of the stream. Sit tight.
Cheerio.
Cheerio.
Ghost.